Hello everyone and welcome back to Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Trials and Tribulations. Bikini is on the stand, ready to tell us about the night of the murder. That night I was helping an acolyte with her training in the inner temple, but, well, as you can see, my back likes to act up violently. So I left Iris to help the acolyte and returned to Hazakura Temple. There's no bath at the inner temple, you see, and I needed a long hot soak. After I'd finished, just as I was heading back, that's when I saw it.
So simply a coincidence that you found yourself returning to Hazakura Temple?
Yes, you could say that. If my back hadn't been in so much pain, I would have stayed at the inner temple. Sounds like a pretty important statement she just made. There is only one problem with the testimony I can see. And you're not about to fall at the first hurdle now, are you, Miles Edgeworth?
Mr. Edgeworth, please begin your cross-examination.
This is awesome.
What is this inner temple?
Well, see, conversing with spirits is what we train people to do, right?
We'll be the ones asking you the questions, madam.
In order to do that, a place strong in spiritual power is required. There's a small temple across Dusky Bridge called the Inner Temple. Acolytes must spend an entire night there to undergo intense training.
And how exactly do you help with this process?
It's all quite exacting. It can't be performed without a nun supervising. Like a tutor watching to make sure a spoiled child studies. A tutor with a whip in your case.
If that's the case, then why did you return to Hazakura Temple where the murder took place?
Hold it!
Violently?
That's right. It's no laughing matter, especially in winter. I can't hold anything heavier than a knife and fork during the cold months. Just being alive is like strict training.
On the night of the murder, was this fabulous back of yours hurting again?
That's right, raging like a bull in a pig pen. I almost fainted once or twice. I just knew that unless I warmed it up, it was going to finally finish me off.
Hold it!
You left Iris to help. With what?
What do you think? The acolyte's training, of course. It's just past 10 p.m., so we're starting to enter the training exercise proper.
Wasn't it your place to remain with the disciple?
Well, the job is to simply watch over the acolytes so that they don't pass away.
Just to confirm this point again, that night, you met Iris in the inner temple, correct?
Yes, she's a gentle, honest girl. She's never once failed to follow my directions. Now I see where this is going.
Hold it!
So you returned to Hazakura Temple in order to take a bath?
My back is to blame for everything. It's a do or be done in kind of world, after all.
How long were you in the bath for, if you don't mind me asking?
My, what a filthy little rogue you are. I know what's on your mind. I bet your next question is going to be, where exactly did you wash? This is why you have to watch the young ones.
What are you going on about? I was... Ugh!
Pathetic, Miles Edgeworth.
The lowest of the low.
Is there some sort of kick me sign stuck to the defense's bench? That's amazing. Anyway, I couldn't afford to be away from my post for too long, you understand, so...
Hold it!
The crime took place in the courtyard, correct?
When you go from my room to the main hall, you have to take a winding hallway from which you can see the courtyard. That's right. In other words, it was pure coincidence that the witness saw the crime taking place before her eyes. There was no complicated setup in this case.
That certainly seems to be true.
There's indeed only one problem with this testimony. If I can clearly point out what it is, then I can begin to quantify just how good this witness's memory and observation skills are. Oh, we're back to, alright, we have to present some evidence then. Okay, what do we got? Victim staff. Oh, it moved all my evidence around. I don't like that. Don't do that. Here's his hood. Receive before the lights out bell. A note. That might be worth. It might be worth bringing up. Other data. Occult. Note of a lease. Oh, wait. Alright, hold on. Loss of blood, 10 feet after death. Okay. Helping an acolyte with her training in the inner temple, but as you can see, my back likes to act up violently. To present...
Witnesses have to undergo their own trials, I'm afraid. The defendant's fate rests on their powers of observation and memory, after all.
Well, don't worry, I'm more than up to the task. A woman of faith, after all, the head honcho of the Hazakura Temple.
In that case, Miss Honcho, I'd like you to explain something for me. The discrepancy between your testimony and that of the defendant, Iris. She claims that after ringing the lights out bell, she went back and stayed in her room. Which means she did not go to the inner temple at all.
No, she said that. A defendant or a witness? Who is more likely to lie, do you suppose? The defendant is simply lying to cover her back.
But that is completely illogical. The murder was committed in the courtyard of Hazakura Temple. Claiming that she went to the inner temple would make for a much better alibi.
That is odd. Whatever the reason, I can't believe she would lie.
She does indeed have honest eyes. Ugh!
All people lie. That is my belief.
Why am I the only one being whipped in here? Anyway, neither the witness nor the defendant have any reason to lie. Which means, we must call your memory into question.
Dear, you're older than me and yet you want to play that game, do you?
Well, that isn't exactly what I...
My memory is perfect, crystal clear, especially in winter.
Then I suppose it's too early to end this cross-examination, eh? Mr. Edgeworth, if you are going to question the memory of this witness, you'll need to show a more decisive piece of evidence.
Understood, Your Honor.
I was naive to think that alone would do the trick.
Then please add your comments about Boot Iris to the testimony. And let us return to the cross-examination.
But... Iris came to the inner temple... Oh, this is new.
Are you sure that you're not making a mistake?
You, young man, need to get your estimation of me up from the floor. Iris always wears the same clothes. The smallest thing out of place would have stood out like a sore thumb to me. You're making a mistake, thinking I made a mistake.
An excellent finish there, witness.
Still, I have to wonder. Okay, that's the same as after I'd finished, just heading back, that's when I saw it. Go back. It's gonna be that statement. Let's go back to that. Iris came to the inner temple. She was dressed exactly as she... Oh, wait, no, she wasn't. right? Yeah, I wouldn't think so.
Witness, let's get one thing straight. The defendant whom you claim to have met, she was wearing this demon warding hood, correct?
Of course. That is a very important piece of clothing, I'll have you know. Wait a minute. Hold it right there. Why do you have that?
That's the question of the day now, isn't it, Miss Von Karma? I'll have you know that this hood was given to someone as a gift that night, before the lights out bell was rung.
What?
You know where I'm going with this, don't you? If the witness had seen the defendant as she claims, then the iris she saw should have been missing this very hood.
Well. She's on the crates. It's awesome. Not a bad feeling at all, exposing contradictions like this. I understand that happy look on Wright's face every time he does it. I love this.
Order in the court.
Sister? This hood? You have spare ones around the temple, don't you? Spares? Well, I do tend to make too many of them.
I see. Stockpile. A surplus of hoods, eh?
Each nun is only given one hood. This should be the only hood that Iris owned.
This is quite strange.
If there is a surplus of hoods, then she could have worn one of those. There's no contradiction here. Sorry to break this to you, Miss Von Karma, but you won't get away that easily. Discrepancies such as this will sow seeds in any human heart. Seeds of doubt.
Witness, while I don't wish to call your testimony into doubt, you must give every detail with precision.
I'm not sure I'm comfortable going along with this. Sister, you shall continue with your testimony. Tell us what you saw after finishing your bath on your way back to the inner temple.
Seeds of doubt are sprouting in the judge's heart. They just need a little more stimulation to bear fruit. Contradictory stimulation.
What? What an odd phrase. I finished my bath around 11, and I thought I should return to the inner temple. As I was walking back, I heard a noise from the courtyard. I took a look, and Iris was... Oh, Mr. Galise, with a sword of all things. Mr. Galise was staying in the corner room, which faces out onto the courtyard. The stabbing I saw must have occurred after she was pushed out of her window.
Well, how did you know that? You saw a truly terrible sight, didn't you? If I was in your place, then it'd be much like Miss Von Karma whipping Mr. Edgeworth in two in court. And to me, seeing it all from this very chair... something like that.
This judge. His imagination is about as vivid and creative as Detective Gumshoe. I was just thinking that. I'd look the fool if I commented on such foolishness. Anyway, this case is mine, Miles Edgeworth.
Calling everyone by their full name. Can't you do something about that habit of yours?
Alright, here we go. In my bath around 11. Alright, let's just press and see what we get.
How far is it from your room to the inner temple?
Let me think a moment. About 20 minutes on these stumps of mine. It's about 15 minutes to Dusky Bridge from Hazakura Temple. The inner temple is just beyond the bridge. Still, you never made it back there that night, did you? But that's right. I was heading along the walkway toward the main hall.
Hold it!
You say you heard a noise.
Thump, just like that. That could only be the sound of the victim falling. It's very quiet in the temple, you know. You can even hear the snow falling from the branches. Thump, just like that.
But then, couldn't this noise you heard have been snow falling to the ground?
Never thought of that.
Ho 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 ho! Ah!
The next one to laugh gets a whipping. Well, whatever the source of the sound, I looked over at the courtyard and...
This is the second time the witness has testified to seeing the defendant, but some doubt remains in these claims.
Hey, what does that mean? Just because you're a good-looking young man doesn't give you the right to.
The murderer who stabbed the victim with the sword. Sister Bikini, try to recall exactly who it was you saw, as clearly as you can.
Well, you're a handsome young man, so I'll forgive you. I like playing as Edgeworth. Oh, now that you mention it, there was something awfully strange about her. Something that has been bugging me all this time.
Please don't keep us in suspense.
Her hood. Her hood? That's right, it's coming back to me. Iris, she wasn't wearing her hood. Thought something was out of place, but it all makes sense now, doesn't it? After all, she'd given that hood away to someone, right? Ah, you've dug your own grave, Miles Edgeworth.
What do you say, Mr. Edgeworth? Is this testimony important?
It's always important. Right? This may initially appear to put me at a disadvantage, but I can't see any other leads at the moment.
Your Honor, I would like these new statements to be added to the testimony.
Miles Edgeworth, if you want to hang yourself, you need only to ask. I'll gladly lend you my whip.
Witness, add that statement to your testimony.
No problem. Alright, let's press that.
You're sure about that?
Yes, after all, we always wear the same clothes. Ah, I don't mean because we're poor, you understand? It's our style. Yes, that's it.
There's absolutely no need to explain yourself.
Anyway, she looked different from normal, so that really stuck out. Like me holding a whippet puppy instead of my whip. At least then it might bite you and not someone else. Iris didn't have her hood on, I'm sure of it.
Very well. Now, please tell us about the victim, eh?
We're staying in the corner room, which faces out into the courtyard. That's got me nothing. The stabbing I saw must have occurred after she was pushed out of her window. I feel like she's lying. This is very powerful testimony, too. She claims to have seen the instant in which the defendant stabbed the victim. The only two things I can believe in right now. My client, Iris, and my own abilities as a defense attorney. Alright, let's go back to the, sword of all things. Now that you mention it, Iris didn't have a hood on. Main scroll, Iris's hood. See before the lights out bell the night of the crime protects from evil spirits. There's Hazakura Temple and the surrounding area. Old magazine. A show, not really anything. Photo of Elise, I don't see that being helpful anytime soon. Iris's testimony rang the lights out bell at 10 and was in her room until the murder was discovered. I don't really have anything that, it's at time, 10 to 11 p.m., cause, loss of blood from stab in the back, body fell 10 feet after death. I think I know one thing I can do. Maybe I have to do that first. Faces onto the courtyard. The stabbing I saw must have occurred after she was pushed out the window, which is not what the autopsy says. I feel like it actually happened the way Bikini is describing. But this contradicts what she's saying. So I think we just have to explore that avenue, and then maybe we can go back.
Impressive logic, that's what I'd like to say anyway.
Oh, please do. My brain is something else, especially in winter.
However, I think you're overlooking one thing. Miss Von Karma, would you be so kind as to take a look at the autopsy report?
The autopsy report?
The victim did fall from a height of 10 feet. However, this fall was after she was killed.
That's right, it says after death right here.
The scene the witness claims to have seen is contradictory. If the defendant stabbed and killed the victim there in the courtyard, how did the victim go on to take a 10-foot fall?
Oh, order! The victim was killed and then fell. If that is the case, then the victim must have been killed in her room, don't you agree?
That is the logical conclusion. Yes, that's right. The victim must have been stabbed by the defendant in her own room, and then she was thrown out the window into the courtyard below.
Were there any signs of a struggle in Miss Donim's room? She was stabbed with a sword. That would leave a bloodstain, wouldn't you agree?
Well, Miss Von Karma, was there any blood?
No traces of blood were found in the victim's room.
Your whip has just got traces of blood to be found on my glorious playoff beard. They're underway, by the way. However, if there was no blood in the room, then your claim...
I'm sure there's no need for me to go over this, as I'm sure Your Honor is well aware. When a stab wound produces the most blood.
When it produces the most blood?
Very little blood is lost at the moment of a blade's insertion. If you want to talk about when the most blood would be lost from a body, that would be when the blade is removed.
Indeed, with the weapon still in place. It acts like a lid on the wound.
That's true. With the weapon still in the body, there wouldn't be much bleeding. A perfectly reasonable line of thinking.
We have come to a conclusion then. The victim was thrown out the window with the sword still in place. This removes all the contradictions. Not really. There is no way that not a little bit of blood was going to get on something along the way.
Order! I must admit that this is a probable version of events.
Expect no less from Francisca Von Karma. She locates and takes control of every vital point.
It seems that we need a clearer testimony from the witness. Remove all supposition on your part and tell us only the facts, please.
Wait, why'd she fall?
Witness, please remain standing on the crate.
Don't go selling me short now. The weight of winter snow has bent me out of shape, especially my back and my mood. Sister, please give us your testimony. I will give you a vigorous massage once we are finished here. With the whip? Oh boy, all right. And we'll just have to hear that testimony in the next episode. I feel like she's hiding something. I can't quite figure out what. Like, something about her just doesn't add up. But I can't figure out how. I'm wondering if it's like the old man, like 2 chapters ago, where like he wasn't lying, he was just wrong because he was kind of set up. I'm wondering if this is something similar. We'll see in the next episode. As always, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.